Yeah, I gotta come. And we're live, folks. Welcome to another episode of Sober Talk with Brother Brandon, the Raging Cajun, baby. It's the weekend, baby. Man, I hope everybody's having a beautiful week, a beautiful day, and the white stuff has not fell yet. And so that's a beautiful day for me. I don't know about you, but it is for me. But it's a beautiful day to be alive, sober, and free. Free from the jail cell, free from the trap trailer, and free from addiction and alcoholism. I mean, we're never really actually free. It's a daily reprieve. But when you can't, when you can't go anymore and you finally surrender. Um, yeah. Let me get this set up right here. CJ getting nervous. There you go. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, my name is Wilbur McIntosh. So, I want to give a special shout out. That's two specials on that. To Preferred Heated and Air. Man, shout out to them. Shout out to Cornerstone Woodworking. Tied for second, Sober Living. New Freedom Center. Prairie Recovery Center. Serenity Bridge right here in Bismarck, North Dakota. Sober Living. And all the people that support Sober Talk, Nishu, Bay, Kennel and Grooming, Hanson's Menwear. Shout out to the Chieftain. Shout out to the Treasures of the Sea and Earth. Resurrection Tattoo, where you can get hooked up and not effed up. And they're having a Halloween special. Get a tattoo for $31, 3 inches, 3x3. First come, first serve. Also, they still have the toy drive going on, where if you bring a toy that's worth $100 with a receipt, you'll get a tattoo worth $200. So Resurrection Tattoo, check them out. Recovery Reinvented is going on this next Wednesday, October 30th. It's at the Bismarck Event Center. The First Lady of North Dakota and the governor put this on every year in a different city. And it's going down in Bismarck, North Dakota at the Event Center. So you can catch Sober Talk there, interviewing people. Come stop by the Sober Talk table. It's going to be a great day. And it's going to be extraordinary. Well, I got a special guy in the house tonight. His name is CJ Bear. How you doing, brother?
Doing good.
Yeah. So, when you woke up this morning, because I know you're sober and I know you go to sleep at night now. Did you do a bear roar? Like, I'm CJ the Bear.
No, it's more like
Yeah. So what's a typical day? A day starting and a day in motion for Mr. Bear.
I don't know. As soon as I wake up, like after I look on Facebook for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, you gotta check all your likes on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Yeah. They said that the same supply of baby oil that P. Diddy's got, CJ Bear's got.
Yeah.
He's got cases, folks. Hundreds and thousands of cases of baby oil. Nah, I'm just joking.
Well, someone's got to supply you.
Yeah. So you get up and what's a typical morning?
First thing what I found what works for me is just finding something to be grateful for. You know what I mean?
Okay. Is it Facebook?
After Facebook.
Is it like your good side when they get a good picture of you? You know what I mean? And the light's just hitting you right. And
Yeah.
you're like, I'm CJ Big.
Yep.
Yeah, gratitude is a great thing to wake up and to practice. Every day that I wake up, I usually wake up happy. I'm usually moonwalking in my underwear to the coffee pot. You know what I mean? I'm singing some old school Motown jams because I am showing gratitude that I am still alive and I'm not homeless and I'm not in the trap trailer and I'm not at the Motel 6 in misery and I'm not in jail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you find something. So what did you find this morning, October 25th? What was your gratitude for today?
That I got to woke up. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
That I get to get my son ready for school, even though
How old is he?
he's 14.
14.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You probably catch him doing some weird stuff in the morning. Trying to shave his nose hairs and stuff.
He falls asleep to ASMR stuff, and I'm just like, I had to go in there. I was like, "What are you doing, man? Don't bother me."
Is he big?
Yeah.
He's like a bear?
Yeah, he's almost big as me. He's like maybe almost about 6 foot.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does it feel being sober and has your relationship with your son blossomed?
He's at that weird age where like friends are more important than family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was there. I think a lot of people were. So
Yeah.
but
The buttercream gang.
yeah.
You know what I mean? We got a tree house. Don't come messing with us. We got a secret handshake.
Yeah,
And who stole my lighter?
Yep.
What you got a story?
No.
Go ahead. What you got it branded on your arm?
No, I was gonna say I was amazed by how much you remembered. I thought you were looking at some over here, and I was like, "This guy doesn't remember all of that."
All of what?
Everything you said when we started.
Yeah.
That surprised the hell out of me.
Yeah. So, you found something to do gratitude. Do you go to a meeting every day?
No, I don't.
All right.
No.
Did you used to?
For a long time, yeah.
Right. So what's
Yeah.
happened? You're slacking? What's going on with it? You feeling some kind of way in a different way?
I think like for me, what I was trying to figure out was balance, right?
Yeah.
Like, how can I keep doing recovery stuff, but try to more mend the things that I couldn't while I was in sober living? Because the main thing, like, I couldn't have my kids with me, right?
Right.
So I trying to focus more so on that, like my family life, but still maintain the things like my commitment. Like my main commitment is I chair a meeting on Tuesday at Cap City at 8 o'clock, and I've done that since May 10th, 2022.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm proud of you, brother. How long have you been sober and clean?
2 years, 11 months. It'll be almost 3 years on the.
Miracles.
Hey, I'll tell you what. To me, it definitely is because
Why?
I grew up in a alcoholic household.
Where did you grow up?
Newtown.
Newtown, North Dakota.
Yeah.
The MHA Nation.
Yeah.
The Bakken.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
It wasn't the Bakken when I was growing up, though.
Okay.
It was, yeah, we were pretty dirt poor, man.
Yeah.
You know?
I hear stories like that. You know what I mean? And I can relate to that because that show you was talking about earlier, the Shoot 'em.
Oh, yeah.
I lived down the bayou back in the day. And I remember living in a trailer with holes and mice and right on the swamp and full of roaches and the shampoo freezing during the wintertime. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's how cold it was living in the trailer.
Cold down there?
I guess. You know what I mean? Yeah, I had commodities. You know what I mean? I drunk my first screwdriver with some orange juice in a big can, you know, with a white label. Yeah, we used to get commodities every week from Granny Chiwis. You know what I mean? Yeah. But so What was your life growing up? Did you have brothers, sisters? Did you have like mom, dad? Break it down to me.
I'm the oldest out of there was three of us. I
Okay.
got a younger brother. I mean, when I was small, my younger brother and younger sister, and my mom and dad, and they kind of moved all over. Because it wasn't just Newtown and like partial, uh,
Mm-hmm.
White Shield, Twin Buttes, all
Mm-hmm.
these different places, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there came a time like my dad's drinking got too much, or the way he got when he drank got to be too much for my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And then she took us. We moved to Wisconsin, and she got addicted to crack out there.
Milwaukee?
Yeah, Milwaukee, Appleton, then Stone Lake
Mm-hmm.
or Crandon.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then I don't know. I think for a long time, like I thought it was like, oh, she didn't care, because she left us at a daycare center, and
Mm-hmm.
then my great grandma, she's the one that they because they didn't have Google, so
Mm-hmm.
they had to figure out how to get hold of my grandma
Uh-huh.
and or family, and then they end up coming to get us, and um yeah,
Bring you back to Newtown?
yep, yep. So I stayed in Newtown for a while, and then man, I think my grandma, my great grandma, she was already older, so whenever we'd get to be too much, like she would send us to a different family, part of our family. So it'd be like in Minnesota or Albuquerque or
Mhm.
Montana, or so there's a lot of moving around. But yeah,
Did she show you any like traditional ways?
no, my grandma wasn't traditional. She when she was younger, they had like they had a relocation act, right? And whenever they gave them money, her and her husband moved down to Oakland, California,
Mm.
and so one of my grandmas was born down there. They were there for a while, then they moved to Muskogee or something.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um, so do you remember any kind of like spiritual life?
yeah,
And like in your
yeah.
adolescent years?
Yep. My grandma, um, she would take us to this church. I still don't know what denomination they are. I just know it was called Jesus Saves,
Mm-hmm.
and she took us there for a while. Bible study on Wednesdays, and then church on Sundays. Um, and then there came a time like she told us, you don't have to go anymore. That's your choice.
Right.
Um, it's up to you. And I never went. I started running around, uh, drinking around at a pretty early age.
How old were you when you first tried ethylene alcohol, my brother?
Um, it had to have been like the first time I tried it and actually got buzzed up.
Mm-hmm.
I must have been like 8. And
Yeah.
then at the same time, 'cause one of my uncles, he took me on a.
On a 48-hour purge?
It felt like it.
Yeah.
It felt like hitting all the back roads, and
Yeah, like yeah.
and then at the same time we smoked weed.
Oh,
So like he took me home and dropped me off. I must have been like 8 or 9,
yeah.
and then my grandma was like, "What is wrong with you?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Nevada did it." And I put my hand up.
Yeah. That's
But
when he took your innocence,
hey, yeah,
like they did Justin Bieber.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
because that's
Huh? Huh?
one of my other uncles. He lived with us. He was an alcoholic, and man, that guy was tough to live with. But we would still like buds off of his little weed plants. He used to have some planted down behind our house,
Mm-hmm.
and then we would go try to sell them. But we didn't know you were supposed to dry it first. So,
Yeah.
so me and my brother going around trying to sell fresh weed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll never forget
Out
that.
there trying to smoke peanut butter.
It's crazy.
Um, you yep. How was school? Did you have any hobbies? Were you intelligent?
Um,
You seem real intelligent.
And I
You're
appear
like
that
you was
way.
real creative.
I definitely creative.
Are you an artist?
Yeah,
You are?
I didn't know I was. Because I do other stuff like I grew up doing music. That was probably like my
What
first
kind of
love.
music?
At first it was blues. Blues was like the first thing I
You
fell in
was
love with.
singing or you was playing instruments?
The first thing I started playing was a harmonica.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad got me a harmonica, and I don't know, I just felt like I knew how to play it,
Yeah.
and I could.
I think I seen you down in the French Quarter, sitting on a milk crate outside. Yeah.
Yeah, by the tracks.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Nobody knows. You know what I mean? And so you fell in love with the blues.
you know,
Yeah.
and I don't know, like that was probably like when I was like 10, and then I just kept digging deeper into like blues music, and I fell in love with it, and then I started playing guitar when I was 11 or 12.
Can you still play?
Hmm.
All right.
I haven't played in a long time because one of my brothers died. He's not a blood brother, but I always considered him my brother.
Mm-hmm.
And we played guitar together, and I taught him how to play guitar. And then after that, like I kind of just let it go. It just didn't feel right, so I let that go. But I don't know, like I still kept the harmonica around for a while, but then when I started getting pretty heavy into drugs, and I kind of let all of that creative stuff go.
When was that you started getting heavy in the drug? How old were
Um,
you?
well, it was about, I would say like 15, 16, something
Yeah.
like that. And then it wasn't until like after he had passed, um, like that's when it started getting heavy with the drinking,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Um,
Yeah,
a
the
lot
real
more,
blues.
yeah, a lot more pain pills. Yeah, like back then that was the ones that everybody wanted was the blue hydros because
Right.
they didn't make them anymore.
I was talking about the music.
Oh,
The real blues. I hit three subjects when I said that.
hey, yup, you did.
No, 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 no. Nobody knows. He's got the real
Yeah.
blues.
Yeah, just keeping my sock right here, man.
Yeah. Know all about it, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but no, I did it backwards. Like I quit drinking when I was 21,
Mm-hmm.
and because like my family used to own the biggest bar in town,
What was it called?
Players Pub.
The Players Pub.
You know,
Yeah, that's where you got the blues from.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, I don't know, like because I'd go down and help them clean in the morning,
Hmm.
help my uncles clean,
Yeah.
and they'd always make me like flaming Dr. Peppers or
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So drinking was my thing for a long time, and yeah, then I don't know, just some stuff happened. All I remember, the reason why I quit, right? All I remember is like I came to, I was laying on the ground in my place, and there was like milk everywhere, and I was like looking around, like trying to like figure out what the heck's going on, and like I see my kids crying, and I'm like looking around, and there's like spaghetti hanging from the ceiling,
Hmm.
and I'm just like, man, whatever I did, it ain't good. And then um, I don't know, like I went outside, and then the cops were right there, and yeah, I was just like, because my thought at the time was I don't want to black out and hurt my kids,
Hmm.
so I quit drinking, and then I started doing pills pretty heavy.
Hmm.
So at 21, um, I started doing pills pretty heavy.
So you had kids at an early age?
Hmm. Yeah,
Well, how old were you when you first hit your first kid?
like 18, I'm pretty sure.
Well, see, we know CJ ain't shoot no blanks. You know what I mean? He ain't no, it ain't the crow, it's the real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I got five of them. Would have
You
had
got
six.
5 kids?
Yeah,
Damn. Gee,
yeah, 35. Yeah.
yeah. I got sober when I was 35.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm 42 now.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, you look good.
Yeah. You too. You know what I mean?
I know. I'm surprised because like
You want to come to a 48-hour party with me? No, I'm just playing.
He passed out by the 8 hour.
No, I'm just joking.
See both of us sitting up in the chair. Like,
Yeah. You ever overdosed?
yo, once.
How was that?
It was pretty wild because it was unexpected because my at the time my tolerance was super heavy because this is right towards the end of my using too. And like because I was at the time, like probably before that, I was probably doing right around maybe like anywhere from like 60 to 100 and something fentanyl pills, right? And then so I thought my tolerance was super high, right?
Mhm.
And I hid one because I had quit selling for a while, and I hid one. I didn't tell my kid's mom like I had it,
Yeah.
and then she went to go see somebody real quick, and I was like, I'm gonna do this real quick while she's gone
How'd you do it?
on tinfoil. I
Oh,
smoked
you
it,
smoke it.
you know, and I was trying to do it as fast as I could, and then all of a sudden, boom. Then I woke up, and I was standing in the field. I was all wet. I was like, how the hell did I get here? And like, I felt down. My finger was broken. This one was broken. And I asked her what happened. She's like, I came back and you were all purple. And I tried to give you CPR. And then you started falling out the door. And I was trying to push you back in and your arm fell down and I shut the door on it. And then
Oh,
you woke up.
the truth came out, huh?
Yep.
Mhm. Yeah. Well,
The only thing, you know what, the only thing I could think of at the time was like, damn, I wonder if I left that in there.
yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're still with us, brother.
Me too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You are a miracle.
And,
Because I know a lot of people that ain't with us
yep.
that had that same situation.
No, you right.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So if you're still alive, God ain't done with you.
You know what? That's been like a big thought, like for a long time, like because I used to wonder, like, what the hell is my purpose?
What month is your birthday in?
September,
At the beginning?
towards the end, September 21st.
Okay.
Yeah,
So what's your sign?
Virgo.
Me too. I knew it. I could smell a Virgo on it. You know what I mean? I could smell the artist in it.
Yeah.
Mine's right at the cusp, though. Mine's August 25th.
Okay, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I knew you was a Virgo. I could sense it. I could sense the way you color coordinate. You know what I mean?
Try.
Yeah. And so you didn't die.
No,
Did you think in your mind after that, man, I need to chill out?
nope. You know why? I was like, damn, that was just one.
Huh?
That was just a freak thing. Maybe it's because I smoked it too fast. I'll slow down next
Yeah.
time.
I use matches instead of a lighter.
Right.
Mm-mm.
I don't know. I think it's ridiculous. Like
You
the
must have sucked that thing up, huh?
Hey, I was trying to. I was trying to hurry because I didn't want to share.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But no, you know what's crazy is like I saved so many people from overdoses,
Mm-hmm.
and because I don't know, whenever that stuff started coming around, nobody knew what to do.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't overdoses. There wasn't really
Yeah.
strong heroin or anything like that
Yeah.
where I was, and
You just throw them in a bathtub and hit them with a foghorn.
something, or just smack them up a little bit, and that was it.
Yeah.
But most people would freak out, and then they would try to leave, and I always stay calm and just try to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And
So what was some of your first tactics at saving somebody? Like
at
hit them
first,
with electricity or something? Like what was
smack the shit out of them.
Yeah.
You know,
Did you chalk up first?
because because like what I figured at first was like if I can get them to like get their nervous system to react, if they can like flinch or something, then I can keep doing it and like move them and shake them and make them, and it worked a lot. So yeah, and even just doing like chest compressions without
Mm-hmm.
actually doing mouth to mouth. So I would like press on their chest
Mm-hmm.
and that would get their brain to start thinking about breathing. And yeah,
Most Virgos have that. I'm gonna save everybody. You know what I mean? Or
yeah,
I'm gonna keep it all together. You know what I mean?
I yeah, I guess so. Because like a lot of people that I meet that
I,
are yeah.
it's just now I had a visual of you being a real medic.
If hey, you know what?
You know what I mean?
I used to watch YouTube videos on like what to do. Like I don't know why. Well, I was on meth at the time, so like I would watch YouTube on videos on like oh what to do if a cut happened,
Hmm.
how to tend to stuff like that,
Hmm.
survival stuff, and
Hmm.
just all kinds of different crazy stuff.
Hmm.
But yeah, because you never know, man.
Hmm.
I guess it came in handy.
Yeah. Right when right when you're saving someone from an overdose, you look at the sun and you can tell what time it is. You know what I
That's
mean?
that damn good.
Yeah. Yeah, he kept Narcan in one back pocket and a farmer's almanac in the other. You know what I mean? And a compass. You know, he even had some magnets if you needed to get your chi together. So, what led you up to your first day of sobriety? Like, have you tried to get sober before? This was your first go round? How many treatments have you been to?
I've been to one.
Okay, me too.
I've been to one just because, like, I guess I knew a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
that they would go to treatment 4 times a year,
Mm-hmm.
3 times a year, and they made me feel like treatment didn't do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But then towards the end of my using, I started to think like because what happened, there was a lot of things that happened, to be honest. Because there was no bottom, there was just big events that kept happening and happening and happening. And I was like, something has got to give, but I don't know how.
Right.
So what ended up happening, like the biggest thing was my sister passing away. Uh, she lived down here in Bismarck, and
What was her name?
Dimay, Dimay Bear. I had no idea that whole time she was down here. She was in AA.
Oh.
I had no idea. She never.
What year was this? I
Um,
mean,
when she passed, it was 2021.
okay, so she was down. I probably ran into her.
More than likely, she used to go to Cap City. Um, I don't know like what her recovery looked like. I didn't even know. She just told me she was like, I know a way for you to get sober. Just go to treatment, and
Mm-hmm.
then you come stay with me, and we'll go from there. And then I convinced her, right? Like, oh, I'll go to treatment, but you gotta come stay and like take care of the kids. I'm not gonna bring the kids down there. I just kept putting up all these stipulations because I didn't want to go. Like, I wanted her to be like, no, that's too much.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing was too much. She quit her job. She had her husband quit his job. She took the kids out of school. She found a place. She found a job. Her husband found a job. And just for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at the time, like I didn't realize like how much she was doing for me and like how much I meant to her. But I was just like, oh wow, she's doing all this. Like, whatever. Maybe she wanted to move back, or. And here one day, she was on her way into town because she stayed in partial, and she was on her way to Newtown, and then she got hit by a drunk driver.
Mm-hmm.
Her and my nephew, they passed away right away. And man, like for a while, like I felt guilt for that, like I was the cause. Like oh, if I didn't lie and say, oh, I'll go to treatment if you move back and do all these things,
Mm-hmm.
like they would still be alive. And it took a long time for me to come to terms, like you know, it's not completely my fault. I do have a part to play in that,
Mm-hmm.
but that she's one of the biggest reasons why I choose life today. Mm,
Amen to that.
so that's a big thing. So, and then after that,
Well, I
so
appreciate you sharing that.
yeah, so after that, that was the winter of 2021.
Mhm.
Um, uh, I in May of 2021, I got a call out of nowhere from the ATF, and
They called you?
yeah,
Like, hey,
yo,
what did they say? Like,
they all they said was
you know who this is?
they were like, "This is Special Agent so and so with the ATF,"
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "Somebody's messing with me," you know?
Right. Were you
And
high?
oh yeah, I just got done doing a hot rail, and as I was blowing out, my hit, then I answered the phone because I didn't know what number it was, and it was a 701 number. So I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I don't know, maybe it's somebody that
Mm-hmm.
can help me out, And I was just so I said in right away. I was like, this has to be real.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh well, or they were like, oh, we're looking for CJ Bear, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh, he left his phone here. I let him know you called,
Right.
and he's like, all right, well, we'll be expecting a call, and then he probably called like a week later, same guy, and I talked to him for a little bit because I was curious.
All right.
And he was like, "Oh, well, did you happen to have burglary at your place or something?"
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Why is that?" He's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Well, it just so happens that we found a good amount of guns in in a house that belonged to you, and I knew something was gonna happen, you
Uh-huh.
know." And I was like, no, I don't know. At the time I was like, man, why didn't you lie? Why didn't you say, yeah, your house got broken into and all your
Right.
guns are gone? But then I was like, oh, well, there's no police report. I can't follow that up with,
Right.
proof because it's the ATF.
Right.
And so like I got paranoid.
Uh-huh.
I was like, all right, I'm not selling no more. I just went crazy. Like, and then come October,
Mm-hmm.
end of October, I was gonna sell again.
Mm-hmm.
I went on my last run,
Yeah.
and while I was on the way,
Mm-hmm.
Um, a bunch of people like where I was staying, different places, they started calling, "Hey, the U.S. Marshals were just here. They searched the whole house. They flipping over everything." And I was just like, "Damn, I guess this is it."
Mm-hmm.
And so we took our time on the way back, and yeah, so we got back, and I started trying to like run around. It went on for about a week.
Mm-hmm.
I was having people pay for hotel rooms under their name, and I would give them a bunch of pills because I had a bunch of them, the
Mm-hmm.
fentanyl pills. And all I did was smoke because I was like, at this point, there's not really no point in trying to make money and flip and keep doing the same thing over and over.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm just gonna honestly like my thought was like I just wanted to see if I could OD again and like die.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I was thinking, there's no way, there's no way out.
Mm-hmm.
And then here one day I just got sick of staying in a hotel,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, you know what, we're gonna go back to our place. And I called the electricity company. I got the electricity turned on. We went back over there. We hung out there for like a day, and then that following night, um, we had just got back. We got some snacks, and we got some meth, and all of a sudden, all over, all the different windows and the walls,
Mm-hmm.
and then on the front door, they're like, U.S. Marshals, MHA, Drug Task Force and for something, right?
Right.
They didn't say Drug Task Force, it was something enforcement, and I was like, damn,
Mm-hmm.
this is it.
Yeah.
And
Did you have a bunch of stuff?
not too much, no.
Yeah.
No. At that time, like that's why I went back, is like we didn't have much of anything.
Mhm.
And then um I was like, hold on. I was like, they would have kicked the door in if they had
Mhm.
a search warrant.
Mhm.
I was like, what kind of warrant do you guys got?
Mhm. Oh, yes, what you said at the
Yeah,
door?
yeah. And they're like, well, we have an arrest warrant. I was like, you guys are gonna be out there for a long time, man.
Mhm.
I just got home. I got snacks and some dope. Dude, I was just sitting there. I was smoking a cigarette. I was like, damn it, man, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I'm not ready. And then I I put some meth in like a piece of toilet paper, swallowed it, smoked another cigarette, and I was like, I'll come out, but you guys gotta back away from the door because I had my kids' mom in there and then
Oh.
two other people in there. And so I was like looking out, and they did. They had backed away, and so I went out real quick, and then right when I was going out, I locked the door and shut it, and I put myself on it because I did try to jump up there and try to get inside right away. And then yeah, they took me, and then as soon as they put me in the back of that car and they shut that door, I was able to breathe. You know, like
Yeah.
I didn't have to run no more.
Right.
Because it felt like I was holding my breath that whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Are they coming for me? They're gonna catch me,
Right.
and like what a relief. And as we were going into town, I I just like told myself, you know what, you you fucked everything up. You lost your kids, you know, everything. Your sister's gone, your nephew's gone, all this crazy shit's happening. It's time to change now, you know?
Mm-hmm. So what
And
happened?
so I came down in jail. I got I got indicted. I got federally indicted, and I bounced around for a bit and they sent me to treatment. I went to treatment at PRC, a Prairie Recovery Center in Raleigh.
Shout out to Prairie Recovery Center. What's up, Steph and Dave? Yeah.
And yeah, like that honestly, like
When you bounced around, where did you go?
oh started off in Newtown, went to Ward County, went to rugby, and then from rugby I went to treatment. Yeah.
So how long were you incarcerated?
Not very long. It was like 4.5, almost 5 months, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Just
Yeah.
enough to come down and
And then get a clear mind, because I was grateful for that because my lawyer had within 2 weeks of me being in jail, she was like, "Oh, we can get you out right now." And I was just
you
like,
must have had a good lawyer.
"Yeah." And I had to think about it. She was like, "You can think about it." So when she told me I could think about it, and I was like, "You know what? I'll take that option. I'll think about it." And I slept on that for like 2 days, and then I got to talk to her, and she was like, "You should just wait a little bit." And so I did. I waited until I felt ready, and then I
Mm-hmm.
let her know.
Mm-hmm.
And within a week of me letting her know, then I got out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was grateful for that because if I didn't go to treatment with a clear mind, I'm pretty sure I would have still been stuck with that obsession.
Mm-hmm.
Because having that amount of clean time first, then going to treatment, because then I can have my ears open,
Mm-hmm.
instead of sitting there like, damn, when am I going to get out of here? Because
Mm-hmm.
most of the people that I was in treatment with, that's where they were like,
Right.
damn, when do I get to get out? When do I get to leave?
Yeah. It's a
And,
long, dark
you know,
road from St. Gertrude.
you know,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Yeah.
Hey, I did see some people try to leave when it was like 45 below. I was,
Yeah. Children of the corn out there.
man,
Hey,
man.
so how, like, before you got there, like, what was your expectations, your vision of how Prairie Recovery Center was going to be, and how was it?
I guess like,
How long were you there?
um, dang, like 55 days.
Oh, they had you for the extra.
Yeah, I was lucky because if they let me stay there so I could get into sober living. Because if I didn't have a place to go into sober living, then they were gonna send me back to jail.
Right.
And then
So where did you go to sober living?
I went to Bliss Builders.
Blessed Builders.
Yep.
Shout out to Blessed Builders and the Blooms. What's up, baby? Yeah.
Even
Shout out to Bryce.
that, I'm so grateful for all that. Like you were saying about PRC. Like I guess I didn't really have an expectation because I didn't know how treatment worked, you know? And then like once I got there and like I started to warm up, because my thing was like, oh, I want to build a relationship with the staff, man. So I started building the oh, it's right there too.
Forgot my chopsticks. Last week they had a fly between there, and he flew and I tapped him. Wow, and I got him too.
You knock them out.
I mean, yeah, I took him out the game forever. I took him out the game forever. Yeah.
But
We need
no,
some sticky things up in here,
yeah,
folks.
right up in the corner.
Yeah. Some zappers. Just
But
pull out some salt guns. Yeah. Uh-huh. The life of a fly. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Have you ever thought about the world and a fly's eyes?
hey, so real quick, hey, I want to tell you something about my connection with flies.
Yeah.
So
It's the Virgo in you.
that summer, that summer of 2021,
Yeah, some fly friends.
hey, so
He said, "Hey."
I was I we lived in a truck, and it was a truck that I bought for a project truck, right?
Mhm.
And so one of the windows wouldn't roll up or down. It was stuck like three-quarters of the way up. And so we had it all rigged up in there. We had blankets up on the windows.
Yeah.
You know, it was an old four-door Chevy truck, so like the back seat, it had a bench in the front, so it would move forward and kick our legs up on there, sitting there, smoking stuff.
Yeah.
And so we wake up in the morning when the sun would come up, super hot, sweating, coming down,
Mhm.
like 50 flies all over, crawling all over my lips and my nose and my ears.
Mhm.
And I'll never forget all
They
that.
thought you was a real bear.
You know,
You know what I mean?
so like that stuff, like that, I think back to that like a lot,
Mhm.
like damn, like I didn't take care of myself. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like there's a reason them flies were on me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I wasn't taking care of myself, and like I think back to all that.
They probably was trying to get high. All the stuff coming out your pores, sweating.
Sweat,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's it's pretty wild. Like I, yeah. And then to be there in the wintertime too, because like it was snowing whenever we were staying in there, and then
Mhm.
it got spring, summertime. Like we stayed in there most of that whole year because, I ended up selling my car, my last car,
Mhm.
and it was like I would have to share if I wanted somebody to come pick me up,
Mhm.
you know. And so it was just easier to stay in town, and then it was low key,
Yeah.
and it was just stupid,
Yeah.
you know.
I like what you said. Just stupid.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That's like trying to score drugs in North Dakota. It's just stupid.
yeah.
You know what I mean? For real. It's just so stressful.
Oh
You
man,
know what I found?
wait.
Yeah, you know what I found though? That used to like I'd be so stressed out for about 3 days. You know what I mean? I'm going through it. I would just pull up at the river and jump in. You know what I mean? It'd be like a holy baptism. I'd be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Man, let's get this. Let's restart. You know what I mean? Because it was a stressful couple of days.
man. Yeah.
It's just stupid.
Super stupid. Like I think back and you know what? I thought I was on some crazy wild adventures and
Yeah, shoot him.
oh yeah.
Yeah, that boy got a little Cajun in it.
Yeah.
It ain't
Hey,
raging, but it's Cajun.
hey, when I'm at the casino and I'm winning on the slots,
Yeah,
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 that's how I be acting.
yeah. You got three alligators. You
Yeah.
ready to go? Um, how long were you in Blessed Builders?
Um like yeah 16 months. Yeah.
16 months.
Yeah. I took a little break from there and I went to MHA Silver Lodge for a little bit and then I went back. Um I I don't know, like
What did you learn from all these different sober living facilities?
um hmm,
Obviously, you learned how to start your own.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that's what it was like I started having ideas of like um what was working because I love to observe, right?
Mhm.
And so the whole time I was at all these places, I was like observing everybody.
Mhm.
I that's observing what's working and what's not.
Mhm.
And at one of the places you didn't have to have a job, you just had to do recovery. And the other place you had to have a job, and that seemed to keep people busy. But then then there's missing structure that was at the other place, and this and
Right.
that. And I was just like, there's got to be like a good, decent balance, you know? And so like I did what I had to do while I was at Sober Living. Um, I kind of quit making friends while I was there because when I first got there, like, I was like all into like, oh yeah, these are my sober brothers, this and that,
Yeah.
and those guys end up relapsing on me, and I took it pretty hard. I took it personally, because
Yeah.
because we had like dreamed out all these different things we were gonna do and all this and that, and then that happened, and they've relapsed together, and so I was like, I'm gonna just stick to myself, work on myself, do what I need to do, and just figure it out along the way. Because I don't know how to live sober.
Right. At what point did you start praying again? Because
Hmm.
when you were running amok and you were in the house and they were outside, I didn't hear you say one time you said, "Oh, I just prayed to God." Like when I go out these doors, you was like, "I need a gut bomb and a smoke."
Yep.
You know what I mean?
So that didn't come till pretty recent, I guess.
Do you have a sponsor?
Yep,
It been the same sponsor?
yep, yep. And I picked up another one because two's better than one.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know, like, at first, because that whole time I was sober, like that first year, I was just really trying to see what was out there and what I can do, Because I'll never forget this older lady that would come out to PRC. Her name was Linda, and she's the one that opened up my mind to like having a higher power.
Mm-hmm.
And so
How? Like, how did she even present it to you?
she was like, she told me the story about like how some people's higher power is like a rock.
Yeah.
Some people's higher power can be like a doorknob
Mm-hmm.
and this stuff. So it opened up my mind, right? Because that's one thing that I told myself, like whenever I was in jail, because like I was in jail with some guys that were on federal pretrial, they relapsed, and they'd been through all the motions already. So they were telling me, right, like what I should and shouldn't do, and what I
Right.
should try out, and whatever. And
Yeah.
I guess that's one key thing that's been a main thing in my recovery is listening to people of like how they went back out,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And
So what's some now that you say that, what's some things?
do you have ADHD like me? Because we're both like we keep going all over there.
No, I'm on the same topic, but you're bringing up something. So the people that you listen to
Mm.
and you said what makes them go out. What are some things like give the people out there in the meta, give them some examples of what takes a person out the game.
One thing that I hear quite frequently, like it starts with self-pity. Like it's not something that people notice about themselves, but I notice, right? Like I'll see it on their Facebook posts. Oh, my mother-in-law said this and this and da 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 da. And then pretty soon it's their kid's dad or mom. Then it's the world, and then pretty soon they're not posting no more.
Mhm.
And then because they're building resentments along the way, right?
Mhm.
And there's a book out there that says resentment is the number one offender.
And I think loneliness is number two.
Hey, it could be, right? And then like I think that's the biggest one is just allowing, right? Allowing all these things to impact your what's going on inside you, Because even though they're happening on the outside, people allow them to make them into their mind and then in their heart, and then their heart's like, fuck this, we're going back out. And that's a big thing. And then it's always the other thing, like if they're actually in active recovery, like going to meetings, meeting with a sponsor, and all this other stuff. Those are like the main things. Like, oh, I got out of sober living. I quit talking to my sponsor. I quit going to my home group. I quit going to my favorite meetings and this and that. And I started backing away from everybody at the sober house and all these different things, right? And slowly, even people with a good, decent foundation, they go back out because of that.
They find themselves butt naked, high on crack, sweating, leaking out a crackhead motel window or something. You know what I mean? And how did I get here? You know what I mean? Like life was just good again.
Yeah. It's you know what? So like that's what I always listen to. Like anytime anybody comes into the rooms, like I I listen for that. That's what I listen to the most. Like what did you do? And that those are the pretty common things.
Hmm.
And so I try like I said, like I try to maintain things in my recovery.
Hmm.
I even finally I got an extra day off now. So I'm gonna start working like two 13.5 hour days and then one 14. So I only gotta work 3 days.
Right.
And then I got 4 days off. Now I get to put an extra day of recovery and working and going in at the sober houses
Right.
and doing all that stuff. So
I wish I had an extra day,
hey,
just in general.
yeah, no, yeah, I wish it was 8 days.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I was trying to do for myself, like trying to create more time for that. Whether it's like, okay, I get to choose this extra day to go with my kids or you know, yeah, like shut my phone off and just focus on them.
Hmm.
Or shut my phone off and focus on recovery. Go to these rooms
Hmm.
and get back in there because I'm still, almost 3 years sober and I'm still trying to find balance.
Right.
Because I've never done this before.
Hmm.
I've always lived in chaos, so
Right.
I know how to do that.
Yeah. Me too.
Live all chaotic and this
Yep.
way and that way.
Iron skillets flying and everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I'm trying to figure it out, right? And I don't think I'll ever have it like ironed out,
Right.
but I think I'll eventually get to a point where it's like nothing is suffering, right? Because that's what's going on right now is like I'm focusing on one thing in my life and then the others are suffering
Right.
because I'm purely focusing on that because
Yeah.
I don't have the ability to multitask.
Right.
Like I get hyper fixated on one thing and I gotta do that one thing and I
Yeah.
gotta finish where I'm never gonna finish.
Mhm.
So yeah, balance. That's a
Right.
big thing.
And I can relate to that 100%. You know what I mean? Because we're overdoers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You do 100 fatty pills, and the one you had tucked somewhere
Yeah.
in your little penny pocket,
About
in your little
took
penny
out.
purse. You know what I mean? You know them old ladies used to have them little penny purses?
Hey, that's where I had it was in that little pocket off the
Yeah.
jeans.
I know how you roll, man. I'm a ex-crackhead too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. For real. I feel like we grew up in the orphanage
21st.
together. Like we had our own little song when we used to lay in beds next to each other. You know what I mean? Brother and brother. You know what I mean? Yeah. But so I can kind of relate to what you were saying because I can multitask.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm multitasking 37 things at one time. So I'm trying to knock this one out. I'm trying to knock that one out. I'm trying to knock this one out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I'm trying to get that one out. But I had to dial back for a second myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like showing up in a courtroom with a bunch of termites in your pocket. You know what I mean? They're going to have a field day up in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that I fear in this world.
Hey, I gotta say real quick, that's that southern. You guys always like find something and make an analogy out of nothing. Like,
I mean, the only thing in this world that frightens me is courtrooms. All that wood and they sitting up there and they're recording
it's huge. It's intimidating, man.
Yeah.
That's how those federal courtrooms are. They're giant.
I mean, I'm talking about all that wood up in there. You know what I mean? Anything to do with a court's got wood.
And there's all this wood in here.
Yeah, but it ain't this color. It's that dark wood.
Yeah.
There's a difference between light wood and dark wood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like a honeybee and a bumblebee. You know what I mean? One bites, one stings. You know? Yeah. But
Oh God.
but I actually went to court this past week.
Mhm.
I ain't been in the courtroom in years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was ready to get in and get out. Yeah, I went from a hunting and gun rights back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
That's something like I've been thinking about too, because like
yeah.
I
I mean,
definitely can't have guns anymore.
I have a lot of mentors and friends and brothers in sobriety that hunt. I mean, they do the land thing, the land. And coming from Louisiana, like I grew up on the bayou.
Yeah.
And my son is the perfect age right now to go out there and shoot a raccoon with a slingshot. You know what I mean? For real, with a blow dart. Boom. They got squirrels for real. They saw dead squirrels around town. You know what I mean? We've been hitting them with Chinese stars and stuff.
They're so damn ridiculous.
Right?
Uh,
For real. I'm serious.
Anyway, that's what makes it more funny.
Right.
Oh god.
Man, I was I go back to the Golden Corral days, you know what I mean? For real. But so
Uh,
so how did Serenity Bridge first off, Serenity Bridge is a sober living facility for men, has two houses, multi
yep.
houses, and they're I mean it's popping. You know what I mean? You can get you a bed or you can get on a waiting list.
Yep.
So how did that even come about? Like, what was it? A thought? Were you on like the toilet one day and you was like, "That's it, Serenity Bridge." What's like? How did it even come about?
I guess like so I think that's like that I've always wanted to do entrepreneur stuff, but it's like the drugs was always like more important,
Right,
And so like I did a lot of studying. Everything that I ever wanted to get into, like I studied and studied and studied.
right.
And so I getting into sober living, I was like, oh, this is just a guy. And
Uh-huh.
there's just a house, and then there's these guys that run the house,
Mhm. The
and then
structure.
I was like, okay. And then as time goes on, I start seeing people doing really well, because there's always guys like that just aren't ready yet,
Mhm.
and they're just coming in and doing the motions because they're trying to please mom, dad, grandma, whoever, their wife, whatever, right? And so I was like, okay, it's actually helping those who want it, right?
Mhm.
Which is pretty cool. And then as time went on, I kept seeing those same people, right?
Mhm.
And staying in recovery, and then they leave, and they're still in recovery.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, that works.
Mhm.
And so well, the one main thing was like we kept hearing was like, oh, there's so many people are waiting, and
Mhm.
it's like, well, how come
Still,
yeah, still it's still like that.
I mean, we need half a city. You
Man,
know what I mean?
that's what I'm saying. Like, so I started thinking about all this, and then um it was just a thought, right? Like
Mhm.
I already had built it out and planned it and all this other stuff, and I had great idea of like what I wanted to do.
Did you have a
And
name for it?
uh yeah, I was supposed what was this supposed to be called?
Huh.
We ended up
The
changing
blues?
it. I can't. It was something I can't even remember.
The Fetty Shack?
Yeah,
You know what I
I
mean?
can't even remember what it was because like it was just the idea of like how mainly what it was like the structure of it, right?
Uh-huh.
Like how things were going to be, like what
Mhm.
was too much. Because a lot of times even just going to 4 meetings a week is too much for some people. So like I guess it was like finding the balance in that and trying to figure that out
Mhm.
and like how it would run itself and be self-sustaining, right?
Mhm.
And so that was that. Time went by, maybe like 4 or 5 months, whatever it was.
Is it a nonprofit?
No, no.
Okay.
Um, just because anytime they buy property
Whew.
has to go a nonprofit, so that's got to go to you sell it to another nonprofit,
When
and
you go to sell it,
yeah,
you got to sell it to another nonprofit.
hmm
I learned something new today.
and one day I went with one of my brothers to eat at Marlin's.
Yeah, not the truck stop.
Yo,
Go get you a German caramel roll.
yo,
You know what I mean? You
and
putting ideas in my head. Holy, the truck stop be popping, huh?
uh,
He said, I know.
so we went there for lunch. It was during the day,
Mhm.
and it was just supposed to be me and him. And he was like, "Oh, I invited Lane to come." And I was like, "Lane who?" He said, "Oh, that one guy that he's always over at because he worked at Blessed Builders at the time."
Mhm.
And he's like, "Oh, he's always with the guys, whatever." Da, da, da. I was like, "Oh, okay."
Mhm.
And then like, so I had heard like what he wanted to do with sober living, and he got there and you know, I can say it was God, right? Because before, even at that time, I still wasn't believing, right? I just like I knew there was something higher, right? But it's almost like I was resistant to even just saying it's God, right?
Right.
And so he got there, and like the whole time was like I kept hearing like you got to talk to him about what you want to do. Got to talk to him about what you want to do. And so as soon as he ordered his food, waitress went away. I was like, hey, so you wanted to do something sober living? And I started pitching him all this stuff, and we talked probably for like 45 minutes, and then he was like, all right, let's do it, you know? Being in the drug world, like there's business ideas all the time. You know, you're sitting there going all crazy and like, oh yeah, we should start a
Yeah.
damn
And it
business
never
where
happens.
we can dog food and this and that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it never
Oh,
happens.
I know.
And so I thought it was one of those deals, right? So this man shows up the next day with a pen and paper, and we sat down and we went over everything. We wrote everything down. That's what it was, Healing Homes.
What was Healing Homes?
That's what the name of it was going to be at first.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. And then yeah, so like he surprised me. You know, I was like, finally, finally somebody that's really about this stuff. Like action. That was the biggest thing. So the dream was there, the plan. We wrote all that down, and then we started executing. So from that day, it was about maybe a month. We had a house.
Okay. You bought a house?
Yep. So it was pretty crazy, and you know what? That's the biggest thing that like for me, right? Because like when we were cleaning out that place, like doing the lawn work, because like the lawn was a little bit long, we were sweeping up and stuff, and I just like had to sit down, and I was like sitting on that porch, and I was like, this is wild, man. This has to be a God thing, you know? Like it was like a beautiful day, and
Pigeons were flying over.
hey, it was wild. I just couldn't. There couldn't be too many more coincidences to where I couldn't say it was God, right? So that's when it all started. I was like, this is a God thing, man. And yeah, so we opened up. I think it was June 26th, 2023, and the house was full. I think within a month, and we became a provider for the state. Um, yeah, all these things just so fast, right? And I just kept feeling like, damn, like something about this like has to be like this is what God wants, regardless if whatever, right? Because it's happening way too easy,
Right.
and it's happening so quick, And now we fast forward to a year later, we had a lot of guys that left successfully, still doing well, and we always get the same thing is like, you know, it's thank you guys, like because it's not too much, it's not to where it's bare minimum. I mean, we try to make sure like people find what works for them, right? We don't say this is the one program and you got to do this program while you're here. What we suggest is like figure out what that is, um, therapy. If you feel like you have some mental health stuff, go see a psychiatrist, go to therapy, uh, get whatever meds if you feel like meds might help you, um, and then find recovery, right? Like celebrate recovery church, because we've had a few guys like church was just their main thing, you know, and like so we count that as meetings and all this other stuff in like a Native American church, and as long as it's going towards the betterment of yourself, that's all that, yeah,
Self-righteousness.
that's all that matters. You know what I mean? Just trying to figure out what works for you, because you know I heard early on like in recovery there's no cookie cutter stuff. You got to figure out, you actively have to go out and figure out what works for you. Find the meetings you feel comfortable at.
Right.
Find whoever. You got to find your group of people.
Yep. And you got to search and you got to try new stuff.
Yep. Just like in the drug world.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild, man. Like, I don't know. It's, you know, I just finally feel for once in my life that I'm on the right path
Mm-hmm.
because all of it's too easy.
Mm-hmm.
And if it wasn't where I'm supposed to be, it wouldn't be, you know?
Right.
So I just got to keep showing up, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and when, you know, like I was telling you guys earlier before the thing started, like I have mental health issues and like I got to maintain that too, you know?
Right.
And I don't hear that get talked to, talked about too much. Um, but it's a really big thing, you know, not too many people go and take care of their mental health, you know, and it, I feel like it's pretty important. It's a really important thing because at first, at first I didn't want to believe it. You know, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I'm just this way and that way. I need to figure out, and then I'm sitting there or laying there in a bed to the point where I can't even get up.
Right.
Like I don't even want to play the game.
Right.
I don't want to eat. I'm not going to shower.
Real.
And like I knew something was wrong. You know, for the first time in my life, I reached out. You know, I called the suicide hotline because I was having a lot of suicidal thoughts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I called the hotline and they got me connected with people I need to get connected to. I made appointments and I thought it was wild because it was like almost 2 months until I got to see a psychiatrist. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, man, if I really wanted to do something myself, I'm SOL, man. Like what the, you know, but so I held on. I kept faith, right? Like I can get through this.
Mm-hmm.
And I had hope. And I finally got there. I got on meds and it took a while to start working, but then they worked. So that like I feel like that's a really big important thing is mental health awareness in recovery too, because you know you can't expect to not put all these different chemicals in your body for years and something not happen to your brain,
Right.
you know.
But your body will start to heal.
Hmm.
I mean, it just takes time, though.
It does take time,
You know what I mean?
you know.
Because I remember like I had white stuff in my nose
Hmm.
for like a year. You know what I mean? I wasn't doing nothing. You know what I mean? For real. I breathed too hard. I started sweating. They like drug test them again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right. It took so much ecstasy. I mean, I think it was about 2 years ago I started stopped rubbing on my chest. You know what I mean? They be like, it ain't this type of party. I was like, oh man, I didn't even notice I was doing that. Give me some gum or something. So, um, what's your favorite food?
Mm.
Like if right now we were just munched out the game, or we was on death row and we had one last meal.
Steak.
Steak?
Yep.
What kind of steak? Like what cut?
Um. Hmm. Just a regular ribeye.
Yep, raw.
Pretty damn raw.
Yeah, I can tell. With the last name Bear, I already know you want to bite into some meat.
Yeah.
I seen the movie The Revenant. You seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah. um, who's your favorite band? A
Oh,
band is people that have instruments. You know what I mean? See, these days you gotta like put that together. It could be a banjo. It don't. I don't care.
man, that's a really tough one. Like if I had to choose though, dang, that's hard. I would say, dang, I would have to say, damn, that's a toss up between like Led Zeppelin and the Beatles. I would have to say Led Zeppelin.
Okay,
Uh,
Led Zeppelin.
mm,
Who's your favorite singer of all time? It could be
Chris Cornell.
okay. What does he sing?
He's on Soundgarden and Audio Slave.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, how's your love life? Is there a love life in CJ Bear?
Hey, that's another thing, right? Trying to
Yeah.
figure that out.
I mean, is your heart flowing or is it still frozen? It's defrosting a little bit.
Hey, that comes and goes because it's like I guess
It's like, man,
trying to protect myself, right?
yeah,
Because like
like a chest chastity belt. You know what I mean?
basically,
And
man.
Lane's got the key.
Yeah.
Ah, he got it tucked away somewhere
Yeah.
in his little pocket.
Yeah.
His little old
Pocket.
his little old little pill pocket. He's got. I know what you mean there. Do you ever write poetry?
Sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have you been on dates in sobriety?
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard with like addicts because like every addict I know, like they want to make plans and then they just never happen
Yeah.
so far.
Right.
But yeah, I guess like I yeah, here and there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, you ever just caught yourself staring at someone sitting across from the table over like a double stack of pancakes with the butter sliding off?
I'm too damn blind for that. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to see what it
You
is.
need to get you some Foggles. You know what I mean?
Something, man. Get those kind of wrap around.
Yep.
Yeah.
What is something you do now that you used to do 3 years ago?
Like addict behavior?
Anything.
Hmm.
Or what's something you enjoy doing now?
Or what is something I enjoy doing now?
Yep.
Man. I think about that a lot. Like it comes and goes. Like I guess the biggest thing that I enjoy first is like spending time with my kids. Like being able to see them laugh and smile. Like
Mhm.
that's the biggest thing in life for me, you know?
Mhm.
And then after that is chess. I like to play chess, so
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with that, Bobby Fischer. Uh, um, Anywhere in the world you've ever dreamed of going to?
Japan
Okay.
or Italy.
I've been to both of them.
No way.
I used to be in the military.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So in Japan, the thing that tripped me out, a couple of things tripped me out.
Mhm.
I always dreamed of going to Japan.
Yeah.
I want to like buy a Ducati and learn some ninja swords and you know what I mean? For real. I like bonsai trees and stuff. You know what I mean?
That's sweet.
I grew up watching The Last Dragon. You know what I mean? And so I went to Japan. My daughter and her mom were stationed there.
Mm.
So I went for like 2 weeks. I bought a ticket. It was like $1,500. 18-hour flight on a jumbo bus jet.
That's wild.
The good thing is though, even if you're in the middle seats, Asian people are really small. They don't take up a lot of space.
So you got
Yep.
no over?
Yep. And nothing but noodles. You know what I mean? On the plane.
Mm.
But 18 hours on a plane, I fell asleep and woke up. My knees was locked up. You know what I mean? I was like, man. And so I get over there and I go eat at this little diner, right?
Yeah.
And you order your plate in grams. That's how they know how big the plate's gonna be. Seriously.
Hmm.
So okay, I don't know, like what's a typical? Give me an 8 ball. I want an 8 ball of rice and some curry, and then they ask you, how hot you want it to be. One,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
1 to 10. I think I got like 1.5, and I couldn't eat
was
it.
bad?
It was like a 2. I was like, I like to see what an 8 is,
Mm.
and I was drinking at the time. So then all the base housing is in these towers, right?
Mm.
You can see Mount Fuji, Fiji, whatever in the
Uh-huh.
background. And so I'm sitting there, my daughter's mom's at work, and it's me and my daughter, and she's still young.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't tell me that every day they have earthquakes, but small ones. That's why they live in these earthquake
Oh,
towers.
yeah.
So I'm sitting there watching TV cartoons with my kid, and all of a sudden the whole building starts shaking. I didn't get the memo though. I start freaking out. You know what I mean? They're like, man, it happens like every day. You know what I mean? Like these little tremors and stuff like that. I'm like, man,
That'd be crazy.
yeah, y'all could have warned me.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was a cool experience. You know, I flew into Tokyo, you know,
Mm.
and it was like whole buildings with screens and you know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
But I didn't get to like soiree like I wanted to soiree.
Yeah.
But
Experience.
but I did a little bit. You know what I mean? I did a little bit, you know. But you can definitely do that.
Hey, so I was looking. I was like, where can felons go? And I was trying to figure that out because, like, I want to go travel.
Okay.
Eventually.
So
Probably
what
not
you so
anytime soon, but
what did you find out on this quest of studying this?
like some places you gotta like write to
The magistrate?
something like that. Yeah, and then like say whatever, like plead your case and what give like if you itinerary or something like that where you be so they know. And but it all depends. So some places just don't allow it. Um, drug charges and gun charges. I don't know. I think that'd be pretty tough
Yeah.
because yeah, of
But
some of the things that most of those countries try to keep out.
right.
So
So obviously, out of all your stuff, from the time you took that gut bomb, you got probation.
yeah.
For how long?
Um,
27 years?
dang, I can't even remember. I think it was 5.
5 years? You still on probation?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
How's that going?
Pretty well.
You got to call your color code in?
Uh, she doesn't bother me.
Right.
So I don't know. At first, she was pretty
Yeah.
hard on me, and
Well, you took a stand in the community. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. I don't know. I don't even think she believed that at first, but
Right.
I just kept on. Like because at my first PO, or she was my pretrial service officer.
Hmm.
Um, when I told her what I wanted to do about the sober house and stuff, and she was like, "You shouldn't do that.
Hmm.
It's
She
not
tried to shut your dream down.
immediately."
You don't even know what your name is, Mrs. Probation Federal Officer with the cargo pants.
Yeah,
Try to shut that man dream down like you was a sleeping bear.
because you know what? I was just like, "Oh yeah, I said I understood where she was coming from, but I didn't stop me." So I was like, "Oh, I'm getting a different one
Hmm.
next month."
Hmm.
Because I asked her, I was like, "Are you still gonna be like my probation officer?" No, no, you'll get somebody else. You'll get to meet them right away. So I was like, "Okay, well, I'm not telling that person my dream." Because I learned that right then and there. You can never tell somebody your dreams because of how their mind works and how they've done things and their failures. They're gonna say that you can't.
Right.
So after that, I don't really like to tell anybody what we're doing, but we're gonna be doing more.
Right.
So
You heard it straight from the bear's mouth. You know what I mean? They're going to be doing more.
yeah,
Serenity Bridge bear races. You know what I mean? So look, this little town I grew up in on the bayou is called Lafitte. It's named after the pirate Lafitte.
okay,
And they have the seafood festival every year. Then they have the boat blessing before at the beginning of the shrimp season. So everybody has a blessed season because everybody they're fishermen and trappers and stuff.
yeah,
So they have this fair, the seafood festival,
yeah.
and they got crab races. I mean, they got like these little slots, and you paint the back of your crab with a number on it. Yeah, and they be betting on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I love
I never forget that. You know what I mean? The crab races, the annual. Yeah,
went down big money too.
yeah. Come on, little Charlie.
Yeah,
If you don't win, I'm gonna ball you. I'm gonna cook you in the microwave, in the air frying. You know what I mean? Yeah. Shout out to my brother Jay Dobo at the Pride of Dakota uh, vendor show in Minot, North Dakota. Shout out to the 5-second rule bracelet. Miss Pam, she set up at the big Fargo Dome vendor show. Um, I like that, and I want to see. I know I went to one of y'all events this past summer.
hmm,
Y'all had a nice little soiree out there at Hillside Park.
yeah.
I didn't even know where the house was, but I would have been like,
That's
"Yeah, I didn't even know that." You know what I mean? I would have walked over there and made a scene or something. You know what I mean? But y'all put on a good thing, and I enjoyed it.
yeah. I think I'm not too sure if we'll be doing something this winter. We might, but we'd like to keep doing stuff like that. When Lane and I talked about doing some stuff too, um, like back to school stuff and things like that. Eventually when we get there, because right now we're just trying to focus on getting more housing for more guys because it is insane. It's
Hmm.
insane how many people we get applications for, and you know it sucks that we got to turn them away. And you know because the way I feel. It's like that's at that moment, especially if they're not doing it from treatment, they're doing it like on their own from their home.
Right.
They want different. It's like, damn, that takes a lot just to make that call and be
Right.
like, I want help. Can you guys help? Because we do take guys from the streets, not too often, but we do. Um, and then we've got to see those guys like excel.
Mm-hmm.
And the environment in the houses is pretty great.
Well, I'm
Um,
glad to hear that.
It's awesome. Like there's definitely good camaraderie in the houses, and the vibe is always great,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody's always just trying to uplift each other.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, One thing that we try to make sure that doesn't happen is like there's no cliquey stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're a unit and we're together,
Yeah.
and so that seems
Brother and
to
brother.
hell yeah. That it seems to work out pretty well because like that's one thing like they always say to us right away is like hey, the vibe is good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so.
Well, that's good. A couple questions. What are your thoughts, and how long do you think a person should be taking methadone?
Um, I don't even know. Like I've got to meet regional manager for at this hotel I had worked at early on, and she was on it for 5 years. And she was just like, oh yeah, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Like I just get to live a normal life,
Right.
and so like that really opened up my eyes to like what what that can do.
Right.
And I think it's a pretty great thing if people can, because everybody's recovery looks different.
Right.
Some I'm not one of those people where it's like, oh, you got to do it the way I did it, or you're gonna go back.
Mm-hmm.
That's not true because regardless, like everybody's gonna figure that out, whatever it is for them that works. And if the methadone didn't work out, that's great. But try it without next time.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's what's going to get you into it now, so you can learn some things, put some things in your head, and if you do go back out, that's fine. Hopefully you make it back, and then you can try it differently next time.
Right.
That's the biggest hope, right? Is just
How much do y'all charge a month?
500.
500?
Hmm.
Do people get like help from the state with that, or
Uh,
do they just have to have a job and they have to pay their rent?
yeah. So we do have a program. We're associated with the state. It's a Recovering Housing Assistance Program,
Mm-hmm.
and they help pay for 12 weeks of rent, and that's a really great thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that really helps people get on their feet because not everybody comes from treatment or the street, right? With money to get help.
Oh, I know. That's how I was. I was broke as a joke. I was in the negative.
That's why that's why to me like that program is I hope it can keep going because it keeps helping so many people and finding their way.
Mm-hmm.
And you know because a lot of times what it does is it helps them be able to get clothing, like save up for that, save up for a car, or get their license back,
Mm-hmm.
or all these different things, right? To like
Mm-hmm.
move forward, um, that they wouldn't be able to do if like they had to start paying rent immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty grateful for that program. I got to use that program too whenever I was first got into sober living. I think that's when that program first started. But yeah,
Amen to that. So y'all going to a recovery reinvented?
I'm pretty sure I worked that day, but hey, that's why I was glad like my schedule kind of changed because before I had a set schedule, right? I always had Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off,
Mm-hmm.
but finally was able to get a court order that I get my kids back on paydays. So now that's shifted, and now with the way my work schedule is now, I always have Fridays off, Fridays and Tuesdays regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how I was able to come on a show because you asked me before, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'd love to, but I work and I can't. And it's there, you got to like plan out a whole month ahead, and
Right.
yeah. So
How often do you cry?
hmm,
When's the last time you cried?
the last time I
Can you
cried,
remember?
probably like um, dang,
You know what's the only movie that'll make me cry?
what's up?
Rudy. You know what I mean?
I never did watch that.
You need to watch that tonight. You know what I mean? I used to have a dream of going to Notre Dame. You know what I mean? And so I was already there with Rudy.
Right.
You know what I mean? And at the end when they carry him off, I mean, I just cry like a baby every time. Like, just enjoy it for real. After that, I'm gonna carry me and Lane gonna carry you, CJ. We gonna carry you like Rudy. It's a true story.
Oh yeah, I did hear that.
Do you watch TV movies?
I watch some movie. Man, my attention span for all that, you know, because I get carried away, so I try to stay away from it. That's why I play chess. But then I get carried away with chess.
Mm-hmm.
But
take the world over one chess piece at a time.
I guess I got super hyper focused on stuff, and like I don't know how to stop sometimes.
Right.
So um, yeah, like when I first got into the sober house, like I quit a job so I could beat a game, like because my brain was like, you gotta finish this, you know?
Yeah.
And, like,
you quit a job so you could beat a game, a video game.
Yeah,
That's a first. You know what I mean?
which is pretty ridiculous because I've always like worked jobs for years at a time.
Yeah.
But what was I talking about?
You was talking about games, jobs, and kids,
Oh,
and balancing your life. So is it true that back in
Yes, you're going to recover your investment.
yeah, I'm already on to the next subject. Go ahead.
I want to.
Are you dressing up for Halloween?
I wanted to.
What do you want to be?
I wanted to be Michael Myers.
Okay.
I haven't dressed up for Halloween in like
I was thinking about dressing up as a drug test cup, and she was gonna be the dipstick. Huh?
why not?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah. We'll just trade it like the old barter system: a sack of flour for a sack of sugar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Is it true that back in your heyday in Newtown, when you was running amok, running the streets, that your secret nickname was the Booty Bump Master?
I thought you were really gonna say what it was too.
Blaster Master.
No, it was either easy peasy or also.
Also,
It depends on who I was.
I thought you was gonna be like the Flies general. You know what I mean?
Yeah, making a dance.
Yeah. They thought, you know what it was? They thought you was a water buffalo. They didn't even see the bear in you then. It's like, oh, this bear is kind of slim.
Oh god.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years
Well,
as a business owner or an entrepreneur or someone that has a drive to do more?
there should be a few big things happening. Uh, we're wanting to get into restaurant stuff. Um, like yeah, I don't want to say what it is.
Yeah, don't tell us your dreams.
There isn't one in North Dakota, but we feel like it'd be pretty cool to have here.
Right. Well, you need some J Dobo in that. Do you like spice?
I do.
You do?
I like super spicy food.
Well, I got some things that I would like to set up.
All right.
I think we should have a cook-off, and it should be a sober event.
Hey, I was actually thinking about that. We like one time
Pepper eating contest.
Do a chili cook-off, and then do like something. You know what I mean? Like have these
cornbread,
just where it's a collective. Like whoever's in recovery, if you want to participate,
you gonna eat that fried bread?
Because like I'd like to do that. You know what I mean? Like do more things. Like I guess like where we're connected. Man, and it sucks. Like a lot of the good things always happen when I'm working. You know?
Yeah, you need to quit that job. Lane,
5 years.
Show him some investment tips.
Or 4 years now.
You know what I mean?
I told myself I'd dedicate 5 years to that place. So
yeah. Well, you're only working what? 13 and a half hours now?
No,
14 and 10 and 13?
40 a week. But I got it like to where the hours.
You got a couple of days off now. Well, that's when we're gonna do the cornbread cook-off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For real.
Let's do something, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could do a a selfie baby oil on your chest
I
contest.
swear to God.
Sponsor.
Yep.
People were commenting for you.
We got CJ sweating in here.
Yeah,
Hey, he said it was gonna get a little warm.
Dylan.
We've been on for an hour and a half.
I don't know how to say the last name. In SARKILAHTI said yo-yo. Jerry says I was born in Oakland. Frank is laughing. Alex Trowbridge
Oh, he's at the house.
Frank Benson.
said, "Yep."
What's up, Frank?
Uncle. That's my uncle.
That's a real uncle?
My real uncle. That's my mom's little
You
brother.
related to the Bensons?
Him.
Oh, you related to him?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's special. But he got a lot of kids too.
He's
How
special.
y'all get all these kids? You know what I mean? It's something in the buffalo meat or something. You know what I mean? What kind of milk are y'all drinking?
Steph,
Some steaks.
I don't know if I want to say that last name either. JOCH.
That's stuff from PRC. We
So had
joke them.
CJ and Lane feeling homesick side, and then
Oh yeah.
So how did y'all come up with that name? The Serenity Bridge name.
An AI name generator.
Huh?
AI name generator.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't even know how to feel about that. You know what I mean? Y'all need to change the name of that place.
Well, what we did was like
Nah, I'm
we
joking.
took a bunch of recovery words, like you
And
know,
put it together and it
yeah.
gave you that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there you go.
which one do you use?
Serenity Bridge. I think we.
Which generator do you use?
I don't even remember what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing. It's like,
Yeah.
What if you'd have put a whole bunch of names in there and they came up like CJ's Booty Bump Shack or something? You know what I mean? Sober Shack. Did it spit out that one straight up? And that was the number one. That was
There was like 30 or 40 of
oh,
us.
so y'all had to choose.
Bum bum bum. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that one had the ring. It is a bridge, though.
Yeah. That's the way we looked at it too, right? Was like
Everybody should get their own little bridge medallion. You know what I mean? Like wear it on their neck.
I wanted to
Bridge.
start making some stickers and stuff.
Yeah.
So I like to do graphic design and stuff. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, you just reminded me of what I forgot.
Mm.
I got a gift for y'all, and I left it in my garage. I left it in my garage. I got a gift. I was supposed to bring one of those, but I was so worried about getting it out of the.
Hey, if anybody ever cancels, just hit me up because now I always got Fridays off. So
Right. Yeah, I got a gift. I'm still going to give y'all the gift, though.
I hope so.
You know what I mean? Yeah. We can go get it when we leave here if you want.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to give you the gift. I told Lane I was going to give it to you, and he's probably like, where's the gift? But I did give you a nice gift basket with all kind of goodies. You know what I mean?
Stuff right
But I got a gift strictly for Serenity Bridge, for the love and support y'all show me.
Yeah.
And for the love back to you guys.
Yeah.
Any shout outs?
Dang. I don't know. I guess like there's so many people.
We'll start somewhere. Lane, what's up, brother?
Lane's a big one. You know, yeah. He's probably like the biggest because like you know, I always told people about the things that I wanted to do and thought it was like, that's kind of like way out there. I don't think that's possible. He was the one person who was like, let's do it, you know, and then like he followed through with it and like believed in me. He's like, yeah, we could do this, you know, and right away from the start, it was we, you know, it was we and ours, everything was, and it's, you know, it's been great. You know, we're a team and we make a great team. We bring a great dynamic, you know. Yeah, Lane, geez, Terrence, he's our head house manager leader. We like to say house leader. But everybody knows what a house manager is.
Right.
Sober living. But
shout out to your sponsor.
Justin M and Ryan B. Yeah, well I need to probably call Ryan a little bit more.
Yeah, Uncle Ryan.
But
Dustin or Justin M?
Justin.
Justin M.
Yep.
Yeah, I know him. Spirit runner.
Yeah.
He's got quick feet.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Hey, that's another thing is like you know, like Well, that's what I was saying a while back, and now I get to come back to that.
Okay, come back to it.
Now I get to come back to that thought. So whenever I was going through that depression and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I at that time my idea was like I'm just gonna go to meetings,
Mm-hmm.
and that's gonna keep me sober.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was going through that depression, that's when I realized like there's got to be more.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started thinking about rewinding what people were saying, and like a lot of people always say you got to build a foundation, and like when you build a foundation, you don't just put one brick down. There's all these other bricks, right? And all these other things that go into holding a house up. So I was like, all right, I'll do the steps. And really what it was like I had fear of diving back into my past
Mm-hmm.
and having to deal with that, right?
Right.
And make amends. That's the
Yeah.
part I didn't want to do.
Right. You didn't want to relive it. The only way you can
Yeah,
heal from it is reliving it,
right.
though.
Like, because like I said I wanted to, but I was like, I don't know, do I really want to? And I didn't really want to. But then at that time, like after I had reached out to the mental health people, then I was like, you know what? I got to reach out to the spiritual people. So I started giving the steps a try, and like the way we did that third step, like was pretty powerful, man.
Yeah.
I definitely had a spiritual experience
Got on your
because
knees?
yeah, like we did that too, but the way we did it was like we called uh 10 people, and we had to read this thing to them, right? We had there was some pages in the book where you had to turn it into I statements.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, like I was just reading it to read it, right? I called a couple guys, and I was just reading it to read it, just trying to get through the motions, just trying to get past this step. And by the fifth one, I don't remember who it was because I didn't really know any of these people I was calling. They just gave me some numbers to call.
Uh-huh.
And man, I started reading that, and then all of a sudden, like I started to realize that this is who the hell I am,
Mm-hmm.
And I just fucking started crying, and I was like, "What the fuck is happening to me?" I was like, "Oh, this must be like one of those spiritual experiences that they're type spiritual awakening or whatever," like. And it tripped me out, and like from that point forward, then I started digging in more. I was like, well, it's affecting my soul in a way.
Mm-hmm.
I got to keep going, and it's probably been for me the best choice I ever made because it opened up my eyes quite a bit,
Mm-hmm.
and it got me to want to really be of service to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like what I've found for me is like that's what helps me stay sober too. That's one of the main things,
Mm-hmm.
is helping other people because I can't sit here and say, oh, well, every single day I want to go through it because there's a lot of days where I just want to sit inside and like want to disassociate and
Mm-hmm.
not see people and not, because I barely have the energy sometimes.
Mm.
But then that's when I kick myself in the butt, man. Like,
Yeah.
gotta get out. I gotta get out. And then I get the energy. Then I get to help people.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get to talk to people and somebody might might just need somebody to listen to them.
So if somebody out there right now is struggling,
Hmm.
they're living in a truck
With flies on your
with
face.
flies on them, they just came back from an overdose. They just came back from relapse. They're thinking about relapsing.
Mm.
They want to get in sober living. They want to go to treatment.
Yeah.
The ATF is bringing their phone up every day. If you had any words of wisdom, what would you say?
Mm. The worst that can happen is you go back, but the best that can happen is your life will forever change.
Mm.
So just give recovery a try.
Miracles do happen.
They really do. And like I feel like I'm definitely a testament to that and all these things that a recovery is built around, right? And cause man, I never thought like I literally thought there was not a way out. I thought the only way was to take myself out. I thought that's the only way I was gonna get sober. Cause nobody and my family was doing that. People were dying because of addiction, and that was what I knew. Like the only, I don't know, it was just that was what I saw, and then I feel like it was a God thing. I'm supposed to do something and it's help people, right? And that I had to go through all of that crazy stuff, all of it, and I got to live through it, so I can use that to help other people.
Do you sponsor men?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you speak your testimony, your experience, truth, and hope?
I do. Well, I guess I don't share the story so much anymore. I haven't really been anywhere to share that, but um, I do chair at CAP every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Um, it's always a pretty good meeting.
Okay.
It's super informal. We like to crosstalk a lot and have fun and joke around. 'Cause you know what? I couldn't. I couldn't
Yeah.
when I was high. I was like this, thinking you're gonna rob me or
Yeah.
I want to rob you.
Yeah.
And it's like I get to enjoy that now. I have the gift of laughter again and joy. So why not have that together, share that experience together? So like whenever I do the meeting, I like to try to find something funny to laugh at. Hey,
Amen.
that's why.
Yeah.
Hey, this has been fun, man.
Laugh is
Man,
good.
you get
Well,
too
I'm
much
proud
though.
of you, brother. I want to thank you for coming.
I appreciate
God
you.
bless you and your family. God bless Serenity Bridge, Sober Living. But I'm proud of you, brother. Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
I appreciate it.
Well, that's been another episode of Sober Talk with Brother Brandon, the Raging Cajun, baby. It's the weekend, baby. Man, a lot of Halloween festivities, autumn, fall. Uh, the white stuff still hasn't arrived yet. And I ain't talking about the package. But a lot of festivities. They got they got the conference going on at the Ramada. They got meetings every day. They got trunk or treats. They got the haunted houses.
There's actually a lot going on.
There is a
because I was looking around on Facebook and I was like, that is so cool. Like, because from the time that I got here to how it is now, there's so many people that are taking action and they're like, there needs to be more. There's not enough.
Right.
And it's crazy. Like, even though there's all these things going on, there could still be more.
Right.
I love it, man.
Right.
I love it.
So yeah. If you looking for resources, you want to change your life, you want to take that step, you're tired of living how you've been living, you can message me, message CJ, you can hit up the page. Sober Talk, Serenity Bridge.
Yeah.
Y'all have a website?
Yep, serenitybridgesoberliving.com.
serenitybridgesoberliving.com. Shout out to Prairie Recovery Center. Shout out to Tied for Second Sober Living, New Freedom Center. Shout out to the 5-second rule bracelet. Shout out to Treasures of the Sea and Earth and the House of Fade, baby. But we'll see you at Recovery Reinvented. And if nobody told you yet, we love you, baby. Peace and chicken grease. CJ Bear. We'll see you in a couple days, folks. Peace out. Know how to do it.